Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into some of the most pressing social issues that are shaping our world today. Now I know what you're thinking. Social issues? On a Friday night? John, couldn't you have at least gotten me a takeaway menu with that? And you'd be right to ask. But stick with me here because these issues, well, they're kind of like that weird smell in your fridge. You can ignore it for a while, but eventually you're going to have to deal with it. So, buckle up. Grab your thinking caps, or whatever you use to contemplate the complexities of the human condition, and let's unpack this metaphorical fridge, shall we? Let's talk poverty, shall we? Now I know it's not exactly dinner party conversation, but buckle up because we're about to get real. Poverty in this country, and frankly around the world, is a bit like that persistent stain on your favorite shirt. You try to ignore it, you might even try to cover it up, but it's always there, lurking just beneath the surface. The thing is, poverty isn't just about a lack of money, though that's a pretty significant part of it, I'll grant you. It's about a lack of opportunity, a lack of access, a lack of, frankly, giving a damn from those who have the power to change things. We're talking about families having to choose between putting food on the table or keeping a roof over their heads. We're talking about kids going to school hungry, unable to focus on their education because their stomachs are doing the Roomba. This isn't just a moral issue, folks, though it's certainly that too. This is an economic issue, a social issue, a goddamn national crisis masquerading as an unfortunate inconvenience, and frankly, I'm tired of pretending it's anything less. Let's be honest, folks, inequality is as American as apple pie and, well, systemic oppression. It's baked into our history, woven into the fabric of our society. We're talking about a system where the rich get richer and, well, you know the rest. It's like a game of Monopoly where one player starts with all the properties and the rest of us are just trying not to land on boardwalk. And it's not just about money though, let's be real, money's a big part of it. It's about access to healthcare, education, even clean water. It's about the color of your skin, the God you pray to, who you choose to love. We're living in a world where your zip code can be a better predictor of your life expectancy than your genetic code. That's not just unfair, folks, it's a recipe for disaster. We need to stop treating inequality like it's an unfortunate byproduct of capitalism and start seeing it for what it is. A systemic problem that requires systemic solutions. Mental health, it's the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. We'll happily discuss our physical ailments, compare our latest surgeries like they're trading cards. But mental health? Oh no, that's taboo. We treat mental health like it's a weakness, a character flaw, something to be whispered about in hushed tones, and that stigma? It's deadly. It prevents people from seeking help, from getting the treatment they need. It's time to break the silence, folks. We need to start talking about mental health with the same openness and honesty that we reserve for our favorite sports teams or reality TV shows. We need to destigmatize mental illness, to create a world where people feel comfortable seeking help without fear of judgment. Because let's face it, we all know someone, or are someone who's struggling. It's time to start acting like it. Let's be clear, racism isn't a difference of opinion or a political disagreement. It's a systemic issue woven into the very fabric of our society. It's the ugly underbelly of American history, a stain that we can't seem to wash away. We're talking about a country built on stolen land on the backs of enslaved people. And let's not pretend that history is just in the past. Its legacy lives on in the systemic racism that permeates every aspect of our society. We see it in the criminal justice system where people of color are disproportionately targeted and incarcerated. We see it in healthcare, in education, in housing, in every facet of American life. It's time to stop pretending that we live in a post-racial society. We need to acknowledge the systemic nature of racism and actively dismantle the structures that perpetuate it. This isn't about being woke or politically correct, folks. It's about basic human decency. Climate change isn't some abstract concept for future generations to deal with. It's happening right now, and it's impacting the most vulnerable among us the hardest. We're talking about rising sea levels, extreme weather events, food shortages, and mass displacement. And let's be clear, this isn't just about saving the planet. It's about saving ourselves. We're all interconnected, and the consequences of climate change will be felt by every single one of us. We need to stop treating climate change like it's a partisan issue. This isn't about left or right, it's about right and wrong. The time for debate is over. The time for action is now. We need to transition to clean energy, invest in sustainable infrastructure, and hold corporations accountable for their environmental impact. Education. It's supposed to be the great equalizer, the key that unlocks a world of opportunities. But for far too many, it's a system rigged against them from the start. We're talking about underfunded schools, overcrowded classrooms, and a lack of resources that disproportionately impact low-income communities and communities of color. We're failing our children, folks. We're denying them the basic right to a quality education. And in doing so, we're perpetuating a cycle of poverty and inequality. We need to invest in our children, in our future. We need to ensure that every child, regardless of their zip code or the color of their skin, has access to a quality education. That means funding our schools properly, attracting and retaining qualified teachers, and creating an educational system that is equitable and accessible to all. We live in a world saturated with information, but starved for truth. Misinformation is spreading like wildfire, fueled by social media algorithms and a general lack of critical thinking skills. We're talking about conspiracy theories, fake news, and outright lies masquerading as legitimate news. And the consequences? They're real. We've seen how misinformation can erode trust in institutions, incite violence, and undermine democracy itself. It's a virus, folks, and it's spreading faster than ever. We need to develop a healthy skepticism. To be critical consumers of information, we need to check our sources, be wary of sensational headlines, and be willing to admit when we're wrong. Gender inequality. It's the stubborn stain on the fabric of society. It's the wage gap, the pink tax, the societal expectations that limit women's opportunities. We're talking about a world where women are still fighting for equal pay, for bodily autonomy, for the right to be treated with respect and dignity. It's a world where girls are taught to be small, to be quiet, to be less than. It's time to shatter the glass ceiling, folks. It's time to challenge gender stereotypes and dismantle the patriarchy. We need to raise our voices, to demand equality, to create a world where everyone, regardless of gender, has the opportunity to reach their full potential. Let's be clear. LGBTQ+ rights are human rights. The right to love who you love, to live authentically, to be treated with dignity and respect. These are not up for debate. But unfortunately, in a world where discrimination and prejudice still rear their ugly heads, the fight for equality is far from over. We're talking about discriminatory laws, violence, and a lack of acceptance that has real consequences for LGBTQ+ individuals. We need to stand in solidarity with the LGBTQ+ community, to fight for their rights, to create a world where everyone feels safe and accepted for who they are. Love is love, folks. Let's make sure everyone has the freedom to express it. We live in a digital age where our lives are increasingly lived online. But at what cost? Our personal information is being collected, stored, and sold by tech giants and corporations, often without our knowledge or consent. We're talking about facial recognition technology, location tracking, and data mining on a scale that would make Orwell blush. We need to start asking ourselves, how much of our privacy are we willing to sacrifice in the name of convenience? It's time to reclaim our digital privacy, to demand transparency from tech companies, and to enact strong data protection laws. Our right to privacy, to control over our own information, is paramount. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on important social issues. We covered a lot of ground today, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are countless other social issues that demand our attention, our action, and our outrage. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's challenge each other, learn from each other, and work together to create a more just and equitable world. See you next time.